How you doing, guys? Sorry it's been a while. It's been about a week and a few days since I've released a YouTube video, but we had some crazy things happen here in our beautiful little community of Waldemar, and well, it's a sad story, and they just I won't get into details about it, but haven't made some video footage because basically the area here has been swarmed with people for days, and it's just been a mess around here. But anyways, it's starting to slow down. And on another note, I started going to the gym, guys. Gonna try and get in fit, top-notch shape, because Alana took me and got me a gym membership. She must think I'm getting out of shape or something, just saying. But yeah, guys, just got back from the gym. Surprisingly, after my first time there, feeling fantastic, tons of energy. Usually I'm about dead on the couch right now, not even thinking about making YouTube videos or nothing. That's another reason I haven't made any videos. I've just been being kind of lazy, guys, and it's not good. So I got home from the gym, got out of the car, and I looked up in the sky, and just, it was littered with stars. Beautiful. Beautiful, guys. Tons of stars out there, and it's a nice dark night. The moon is not lighting up. There's not a lot of light pollution from the moon out there. So I thought, you know what? I've never ever once tried to do an astrophotography shot, and I think tonight would be the perfect night to try and knock one out. So we're going to jump in the truck here. I got the camera loaded up in the tripod, and we're going to drive down the road to kind of get away from a little bit of the light pollution that the house is throwing out, and maybe get away from a little bit of light pollution, potential light pollution that might come off of some of the vehicles driving by and whatnot. So we're going to go out down backcountry road, maybe try and find a cool old tree or maybe a bridge with concrete rails or something that we can get in the foreground of the picture so it's not so boring, and do a little bit of a long exposure and try and get some stars in the frame. So anyways, guys, bear with me. I'm going to get in the truck and we'll get to it. Alright, guys, so after a little bit of driving around out in the country roads, it was really hard to find something to put in the foreground. Now I finally have come across this bridge here that I kind of forgot about, actually. I only remembered about it because as I was saying that we had something happen. Actually, a small boy was taken by the river when we had the flood there about almost 2 weeks ago, and they're still searching for his body. Now, I went out for a full weekend and did a bunch of search and rescue stuff and assisted with trying to find this poor kid, but one of the spots that I came out by the river was this bridge here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful concrete bridge, and I'm hoping I can get some sort of aspect of this bridge in the foreground, and then maybe kind of like an angled shot with the stars in it for a nice long exposure astrophotography shot. It's a little creepy out here, I'm not gonna lie. I do coyote hunt literally about not even a kilometer. Actually, it's way less than a kilometer. It's probably about maybe 600 yards right from here, and there is a ton of coyote in this area, and they are very active. So it's a little creepy being out here all alone, but I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna leave the truck running so the noise is kind of, you know, I don't think any coyotes will come out when there's a big dirty diesel idling. But I'll just leave the cab lights on so I can kind of see what I'm doing out there. I do have a couple lights just to kind of get set up, and then I'll try and get this shot, guys, and hopefully it's going to look pretty kick-ass. So anyways, I'm going to go out in the cold and get the shot. Okay, so before I go out there, obviously I had to set up my camera. And so when you're doing like a long exposure shot, there's what's called the 500 rule. So what you do is you want to take the number 500 and then you want to divide it by the focal length of your lens. So I'm using 50 mil, so obviously 500 divided by 50 is 10. So that gives you your shutter speed of essentially what that lens can handle for long exposure. Now, some people believe this, some don't. I go by it just as a general rule of thumb. I mean, if you have these kind of guidelines, just use them, and then your photography essentially becomes a little bit easier. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely, on this 50 mil lens, I've definitely cranked out, you know, a 30-second exposure, and it's been fine. But that's just a general rule of thumb. Some lenses are different. I mean, but if you're starting out just trying to do this is the first time I've done an astro photography long exposure. So that's the rule of thumb that I'm gonna go by, guys. So it's called the 500 rule. You take 500, divide it by the focal length of your lens. In my case, it's 50 mil, so that gives me 10. 500 divided by 50 is 10. So that gives me a 10-second exposure. So that's what I'm going to start with and see what happens. Once again, when you're doing long exposures, always shoot in manual. If you're on full frame like I am, your ISO capability is probably a little bit better than a crop sensor. I'm going to start out around ISO 6400 because I know my camera has very high ISO capabilities. So I'm going to start there, see what it looks like. If you're on a crop sensor, you're probably going to want to start out around, I'd say 1600 is probably your money spot. It's probably where you're going to be on a crop sensor before your image really starts to get fuzzy and grainy. So yeah, crop sensor, start at 1600. If you got the full frame, go for 6400, guys. And yeah, so I don't think there's any other kind of tips I can give you. Of course, shoot on a tripod. I mean, that's just plain simple common sense when you're doing long exposures. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get out there and try and find some little piece of this bridge to get in the foreground, and hopefully we'll get some cool, crisp astro photography. Sorry guys, I did think of one more tip. So when it comes to astrophotography and long exposures, you want to think about your lens choice. So I'm using the Nikon 50 mil 1.8. I feel that's wide enough to give me a cool shot. I do have a 24 to 120 I could use, but that's an f4 lens throughout the whole zoom. Now, when you're doing nighttime long exposures, you want as wide of an aperture as you can get. So 1.4, 1.2 would be great. Mine's 1.8, so that, I feel that's good enough. That's gonna let the maximum amount of light in and give us a nice exposure. The f4, I would probably have to crank the ISO up pretty high. I don't know, I haven't done any nighttime shooting with that lens yet, but it is pretty crisp, it's pretty good. But I'm sticking with the nifty 50 with the 1.8, and yeah, that I just forgot to throw that in there. It's something that's very important, guys, is that you're gonna want a fast lens. Primes are great for nighttime photography. So if you have a prime lens with a wide aperture, then that's what you want, guys. You want to shoot wide open at nighttime. Okay, so now I'm finally gonna get out of the truck and go and get this done. I hope you guys don't think I'm afraid of coyotes or anything out there. I'm really not. They don't really scare me. They just kind of freak me out, the noises they make. But okay, guys, I'm afraid of the coyotes out here. I'm out here by myself. No one would come with me. Alana wouldn't come out with me. I mean, I hunt these things, and it's just kind of a creepy spot to be. I mean, you got this old bridge that's probably easily over 100 years old. The thing could be haunted. I'm spooking myself out. I know there's a creepy ass cabin up in the bush out there because I walked past it the other day. Okay, screw it. I'm going for it. I got flashlights and stuff. Let's do this. Okay, guys, so I know I just stopped the vlog there, weird, but it's actually a couple days after, and I've been having some frustration with putting this vlog together. What happened is, yes, I wanted to go out and do an astrophotography shoot because it was gorgeous out. There was tons of stars, and but there's one thing about that, is that I was a noob. I had never ever done an astrophotography shoot again. Oh, look, there's Max. He's right there. And he's sleeping. Anyhow, I'd never done it before, and I wanted to try, because that's how you learn how to do things, is you try, and if you fail, you try again. That's just the rule of thumb, guys. Anywho, yeah, I went out, I gave it my all, I looked up some quick tips, I shared them with you, but one very important tip that I didn't share with you is that when you're out in the pitch black and you are attempting to do some astrophotography, or even any nighttime photography, okay? There's one thing you should do, and that has to do with your display and your display brightness. You should dim that brightness down. I'd say at least 50%, guys, especially if you're trying to do kind of like some light painting, or light is what you're trying to focus on. In my case, I was trying to focus on the brightness of the stars. I wanted to obtain a photo with lots of stars illuminated in the sky. That didn't happen, guys. Well, it did happen, but not as much as I wanted it to. And that's because it was my first time doing it, right? So there's a first time for everything. And I think for my first time I did pretty good. But yeah, turn down your display brightness, because what happened is when you're in the pitch black, and when I was out in the pitch black, and I'm taking my shots and then I'm previewing them and saying, oh my god, look at all the beautiful stars, these pictures are going to be amazing, and you're pumped, which I was. I was totally thrilled and couldn't wait to get home and sit down on the computer here and start editing these photos. When I uploaded the raw photos, the raw files, and opened them up in Lightroom, I wasn't as thrilled as I was, because I found them to be more dark. The skies were more dark, the stars weren't as bright, and even after working the photos in Lightroom and editing, you couldn't really bring any more light out of those stars. If you did, the picture just got really, really noisy. So that kind of messed up the whole shoot. I mean, my ISO was good for the shoot. My camera's good in low light situations, but it was the deception part, that it was pitch black, and my preview screen, my display screen on my camera is turned all the way up, so it's bang, lighting right up, and I'm looking at it going, oh my god, these are gonna be so great. Not the case, guys. Not the case. So make sure you do that if you're gonna go out and dabble in some nighttime photos, because it does make a difference. It really, really does. I think I got one good shot out of the shoot, which is pretty good, because most of the time I go out and I take like 400 pictures, and I maybe choose 5 that are going to be great. So this, I took maybe, I took a lot less pictures than I usually would, and hey, I still got one picture that I think was still decent. Yeah, so anywho, I wish I would have focused more on that tip before I went out. I did look it up. I did read about it. It's just once I got out there, I kind of forgot. Plus, I was excited, and well, I was excited before I got out there, and it was so dark and eerie, and I realized, oh, I'm out here by myself in the middle of the night. Creepy. But anyways, guys, yeah, we're gonna go out. We're gonna try it again once we get a better night, and we get some nice stars out again, and then with low moonlight and low light distortion, we'll go out and we'll try it again. I want to try and catch the Milky Way next time if I can get a dark enough spot to shoot. And next time, maybe, you know, Alana will be there to kind of help me or keep me company, or someone else. And we'll try and just get better and better at it, guys. When you're out doing something and you feel like you failed, don't worry. Just plan to go back out and do it again, because you know what? The next time you go out, you're going to be better than you were before. And there's a good saying going around that I've kind of been sticking to lately, and that's do something today that makes you better than you were yesterday. And I forget which YouTuber said that comment, but it's one of the YouTubers I subscribe to, and it's just great, guys. So do something today that makes you better than you were yesterday. Good tip. Anyways, here are my photos for review. Yeah, do me a favor, guys. As always, I know my channel's small and some of my content might be a little jumpy, but I'm learning, guys. And like I said, that's part of being better than you were before. So do me a favor, hit the like button. Comment, subscribers. For every subscriber that subscribes to me, I am truly grateful, because I'm just trying to get those numbers up. I'd like to see 100. I would love to see 100 subscribers. But yeah, if you comment, I will comment back. I'm always up for talking with subscribers or friends on the community. I think YouTube's a great community. So yeah. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'm not going to say it again, but yeah, I appreciate everyone who does. So yeah, and I hope you like the pictures. Take care, and we'll see you in the next vlog.